Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dates, a seemingly simple fruit, but one that carries a 1,000-year-old history and unparalleled spiritual depth in Islam. For centuries, every evening of Ramadan, millions of Muslims around the world have replicated a prophetic gesture, breaking their fast with a date. This is not a simple act of food, but an act of faith, a direct link to the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad and to the Quranic narrative itself. In the Quran, Allah tells us the heartbreaking story of Maryam alayhi salam, alone and exhausted during her childbirth. While she was suffering at the foot of a palm tree, a heavenly voice called her and told her, "Shake the trunk of the palm tree towards you, and it will make fresh, ripe dates fall on you." Surah Maryam 19:25. This powerful image reminds us that dates are not mere fruits, but divine supports, a food of comfort and strength in life's most difficult moments. And even today, this story is not just a thing of the past. In Syrian refugee camps or among families in Gaza living through war, dates sometimes remain the only food available to break the Ramadan fast. A small fruit, but one that carries great dignity and immense hope. Did you know that this simple fruit is both a miracle of the Quran, a prophetic tradition, and a food that still saves lives today? Tell me in the comments, what does breaking the fast with a date mean to you? Is it just a habit or a profound spiritual act? Dates in the Quran and Sunnah. Dates occupy a central place in the Quran and the Sunnah. Their presence is not only nutritional, it is spiritual, symbolic, and deeply rooted in the lives of prophets and believers. In the Quran, the episode of Maryam, peace be upon him, is the most striking example. When she gave birth to Isa, peace be upon him, alone and suffering, Allah offered her a spring of water and fresh dates. The story shows us the date as a food of mercy given by Allah to support a mother in pain. This is no coincidence. The date contains the natural sugars, iron and fiber necessary for a woman in labor. A perfect harmony between revelation and modern science. But the importance of dates doesn't stop there. In the Sunnah, the Prophet Muhammad transmitted several teachings about this blessed fruit. He regularly broke his fast with fresh dates, and when he couldn't find any, with dried dates, or failing that, with a few sips of water. The simple gesture, repeated every evening of Ramadan by millions of believers, is an act of love and fidelity to the prophetic tradition. The Prophet also recommended dates for children. In the practice of congratulations, he would chew a date and gently rub it on the roof of newborns as a blessing and protection. This practice still persists in many Muslim families today. This fruit also appears in hadiths related to spiritual and physical health. The Prophet said of the ajwa, dates of Medina, "Whoever eats 7 ajwa, dates in the morning, will not be affected by poison or witchcraft that day." Reported by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. Beyond symbolic protection, we now know that ajwa, dates are particularly rich in antioxidants and strengthen the immune system. And this link between tradition and reality continues today. Last Ramadan, in a refugee camp in Turkey, a Syrian mother explained to volunteers that her children waited every evening for the date given by the associations like a treasure because it was their only real meal. She said, "When I give them a date, I feel like I'm giving them more than just fruit. I'm giving them hope." This moving scene reflects exactly the spirit of the Sunnah, transforming a simple fruit into an act of compassion and sharing. Imagine, for over 1,400 years, every evening at sunset, millions of Muslims around the world have performed exactly the same gesture as the Prophet. breaking their fast with a date. And you, how do you feel when you follow this prophetic gesture? Is it a simple ritual or a living link with the tradition of the Prophet? Share your thoughts in the comments. Nutritional value and nature's miracle. Dates are not only a fruit of memory and spirituality, they are also a true miracle of nature. When we observe them closely, we understand why Allah has placed them at the heart of so many Quranic and prophetic narratives. Their composition responds exactly to the needs of human beings, especially in times of fatigue or deprivation. A date contains natural sugars that are quickly released into the bloodstream, providing immediate energy after a day of fasting. This is why breaking your fast with a date is not only a Sunnah act, but also a physiologically perfect choice. In a matter of seconds, the body regains strength, the mind becomes clearer, and inner peace sets in. Modern doctors confirm what Muslims have been practicing for centuries. Dates are rich in fiber, which aids digestion after a long day, after a temps court. They contain potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure, magnesium, which supports muscles and soothes the nervous system, and iron, essential for fighting anemia. Each date is like a small natural capsule of goodness, a gift of divine creation. This miracle is experienced every day in devastating contexts. Recently, a humanitarian organization in Yemen reported that it was distributing dates to malnourished children. Doctors there noted that these children regained energy faster than with other, heavier foods. A Yemeni mother in tears explained, "I have nothing to give my children, but when they eat a date, I see them smile, as if they have found life again." From Medina to sub-Saharan Africa, dates have become a vital source of food in areas of drought or famine. It is as if this fruit, rooted in sacred history, continues today to fulfill the same mission: to nourish, heal, and restore hope. And how can we not marvel at how the Quran itself invites us to reflect on this natural miracle? In several verses, Allah compares the arid earth to being revived through date palm trees. It is a reminder that, just as these fruits are reborn each year, human beings can find strength and renewal thanks to what Allah has placed in creation. It is no coincidence that dates contain exactly what the body needs after a day of fasting. This is proof that Allah's creation is perfect, down to the smallest detail. And you? Have you ever felt this immediate strength after the first bite of a date in the Maghreb? Share your experience in the comments. Dates in Muslim cultures and societies. Beyond their spiritual and nutritional value, dates hold a unique place in Muslim cultures around the world. They are a symbol of blessing, an object of sharing, and a link between generations. In Morocco, for example, every Ramadan, the souks come alive with date stalls. Families come to choose the best varieties to break the fast together. Children run among the overflowing baskets of Deglet Nour and Majoul, amazed by the colors and aromas. In this daily scene, we find the continuity of prophetic gestures, offering, sharing, celebrating life. In Algeria, the Deglet Nour is nicknamed the light of the palms. It symbolizes hospitality and generosity. In many families, dates are offered to neighbors, friends, and guests during Ramadan. A simple date then becomes a social bond, a gesture of brotherhood. In Medina, Ajwa dates hold a special place. Their consumption is not only traditional, but also recommended by the Prophet. Every morning, many residents begin their day with these dates, as if to remind themselves that the spiritual and the everyday can come together in a simple fruit. But these traditions aren't just local. They resonate around the world. In Dubai, Muslim expatriates send baskets of dates to their families back home every year. In New York and Paris, Muslim organizations distribute dates to the homeless during Ramadan. These fruits, rooted in sacred history, have become vectors of solidarity and compassion in our contemporary world. And there are incredible human stories surrounding dates, like that of Khalid, a young Palestinian farmer who continues to cultivate his palm trees in the Jordan Valley despite the challenges. For him, each date harvested is a symbol of resistance, faith, and hope. When he offers his dates to neighbors or visitors, he shares much more than a fruit. He conveys a message of resilience and cultural heritage. Each date tells a story. From the oases of Medina to the souks of Biskra, they travel and bring hearts closer. They are the living symbol of generosity and shared faith. Tell me in the comments, what is your favorite variety of dates and why? Do you have a special memory linked to this blessed fruit? Dates continue to inspire deeply human stories, far beyond sacred texts. Today, in countries around the world, they symbolize hope, resilience, and a spiritual connection to Allah. Take Sudan, for example, where many families experience periods of drought and famine. Dates are often the only fruit available to children. A local NGO tells the story of Amina, a 9-year-old girl who eagerly awaited her portion of dates for breakfast every morning. She explains, "When I eat my date, I feel stronger to go to school." A simple fruit, but a source of courage and continuity in his life. In another context, in Gaza, despite restrictions and shortages, dates continue to play a central role during Ramadan. Families share what they have, sometimes just a few dates, but the gesture nourishes the soul as much as the body. Refugees often say that this fruit brings them closer to the prophetic tradition, bringing them closer to their faith despite the difficulties. Even among elite Muslim athletes, dates play a surprising role. Some athletes break their fast with a date and a glass of water, replicating the Prophet's gesture to instantly regain energy and focus. In this small gesture, past and present meet, showing that the Sunnah remains alive, adaptable, and effective even in the modern world. These contemporary stories recall Quranic miracles and prophetic narratives. The palm tree trunk that falls with dates for Maryam alayhi salam, or the gesture of ta'niq for newborns. Today, this miracle continues in real life, in other forms. Supporting a child, feeding a refugee, giving courage to those who suffer. See how a simple fruit, recommended by the Prophet 1,400 years ago, can still nourish the body, mind and soul today, in the most difficult situations. Share in the comments a story where a date or a simple gesture brought you strength or hope. How has this fruit touched your life or the life of someone around you? Dates are not just a fruit. They are a living symbol of faith, resilience, and generosity in Islam. From Quranic narratives to the actions of the Prophet, they have always been a bridge between body, mind, and soul. They nourish the fasting person, comfort the mother in labor, bless the newborn, and give hope to communities in distress. Even today, this small fruit accompanies believers in their daily challenges. From refugee camps to the bustling souks of the Maghreb, from Palestinian families to Muslim athletes around the world, each date tells a story of survival, sharing, and connection to the Sunnah. A story that spans time, connecting the past to the present and even to our future. And beyond spirituality, dates are a true nutritional miracle. They provide energy, vitamins, and life force exactly when the body needs it most. They are proof that divine wisdom is present in the details of creation. Each date is a lesson in simplicity and perfection, a humble fruit, yet capable of nourishing body and soul. So how can we not make it a symbol in our daily lives? Breaking one's fast with a date, sharing one with a neighbor or a suffering child. These are gestures that transform everyday life into acts of faith. These gestures remind us that Islam is a religion of mercy, compassion, and human connection. Dates are more than a fruit. They are a link between you and the prophetic tradition, between you and those who suffer, between you and Allah. Now, tell me in the comments, how will you integrate the date into your life in a meaningful way? Share your ideas so that this blessed fruit becomes a tool of faith, sharing and resilience around you.